Welcome! In the previous videos I have discussed the concept of resistance to change. In particular, what is resistance, the cycle people go through, and some ways of addressing resistance to change. A model that I find particularly helpful and very effective actually when dealing with resistance is actually the resistance pyramid that was elaborated by Tony Galpin. This is actually the pyramid itself. As we can see, there are three different levels of resistance. I'm actually coming closer. And basically we got these levels at the base. We got not knowing. We then got basically people that are not able and not willing. What does that mean? It means that basically not everyone reacts in the same way to resistance. In some cases, basically, there are individuals that are not aware of what is going on. It means that basically the communication has not been particularly effective. So basically what you can do in order to address this level is actually to communicate correctly. I will talk about in later videos on how to deal with communication. The next level basically are people that are not able. As we said, when we introduce change, for example, we may introduce a new software, and therefore people may be in a position whereby they do require some training on how to deal with a specific software. And therefore, in order to get through this level of resistance, actually communication will not be sufficient because people will need to be trained. There is then a third level, which is actually the top of this pyramid, which is actually not willing. This is the toughest way to crack because basically we're talking about people that do not want to go along with the change. In this case, basically, if we can communicate to them, but of course, even if we communicate, they will not basically change their mind. If we train them, again, this is a voluntary thing. It's not just that I don't know something or I don't know that I have the skills. Here, I genuinely do not want to go along with the change. So in order to tackle this, we will have to go through performance management. And that means basically to set specific objectives for the individual, to review those objectives, and basically help the person to go through. And if the person basically is not accepting or is not embracing change, basically start a capability process which could ultimately end in the termination of the employment of the individual. Of course, as I said before, deciding to dismiss someone, you have to be very, very careful. So you have to make sure that you are helping the employee to go through. This basic pyramid clearly explains the reason why trying to adopt one approach when dealing with resistance is usually not effective. Not only the message has to be repeated more than once, so communication has got to be continuous and coming basically from different channels, but it will not be effective if, for example, someone requires training. I mean, you can communicate as much as you want that, for example, the software is going to be implemented, but if I don't know how to use it, I will be in a position where you put me in front of the new software and I will be like, what do I do here? So I need to be trained. On the other way, if someone is not willing to, consciously not willing to basically embrace the change, for example, they've got some personal interest due to politics, usually it's more like a parochial interest. Well, in this case, again, communication and training is not going to make them move forward. Only performance management is going to help them embracing change, or at least accepting change, and basically going along with it rather than to resist it and to become disruptive. I really like this pyramid. I've actually written a blog, so if you go on my website www.isabellabrusati.com, you will find an article in which, actually a post in which I am discussing this resistance pyramid by Tony Galpin in more detail. Thank you so much for watching.